Okay guys, this video is about what I would do if I had the money and the means to buy a hospital and take it over. This is what I do. Okay, you know the common mistake a lot of businesses do when they, or companies or whatever do, when they buy out a hospital, they'll start from the bottom up. They get rid of the little guy first and they keep on the same management that has been running the previous hospitals in the ground for years and years and years, because every time it gets taken over, those same people in the top management and the CEO and all that keep hanging on, and the hospital just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the gutter. I would do the opposite. I would start from the top up and work my way down. Get rid of the big guys first, and then get some new people in there with some fresh ideas that can really turn the place around. And I would leave the little guys alone and just restructure everything and refocus what people's jobs are and all that. Because what I would do is, first of all, I would rebuild the whole hospital, especially if it was a smaller hospital with not much space. I would take advantage of any extra room that's on the outside. I might have to take up a little parking lot space, or if there's any open areas on the middle part or inside of the hospital anywhere, I would block all that off, and I'd basically turn the hospital into like a square, or I mean not a square, but like a rectangle, or however, and take advantage of all space. Okay? And then I would revamp the whole thing on the inside. If I couldn't, if the hospital was in real bad structural, if it had like a lot of structural damage, I would just probably knock it down and start over. But if I could fix the structural damage, I'd go through and fix it all, take care of the problem while you can before it gets worse. So that's what I would do. I'd revamp the whole thing, rebuild it, totally transform this hospital. Okay? And one of the first things I would do is I would create, especially on the bottom floor, if it's a 2-story hospital, which by the time I got through, it would at least be a 2 or 3-story hospital anyway. Okay? But the bottom floor would be dedicated mostly to the cafeteria areas, the kitchens, all that type of thing, as well as a convenience store area. Okay? And I would keep the hospital kitchen for the hospital. For the patients and all that, I would separate things. I would have a cafeteria within the little convenience store area. That's going to be for staff and for visitors and all that type of thing. And keep the regular kitchen, the hospital kitchen, that is going to be dedicated to the patients. Instead of them having to pull double duty, having to deal with both patients and visitors and staff and all that, I want to take that burden off of them, because that is a heavy burden, and a lot of times the kitchen staff is understaffed anyway. I've worked in kitchens, so I know. They keep them understaffed, underpaid, and they're having to do all this extra crap, and it's very stressful, and a lot of times it causes a high turnover rate. So I would want to eliminate a lot of that. So I would separate it, and then, like I said, have a convenience store, a big convenience store area with a cafeteria, like I said, that's dedicated to staff and visitors. And you have to, if you're going to eat in a cafeteria, that's where you're going to eat if you're a staff or visitors. You can't go bug the people, the hospital kitchen. That's where you would have to eat, in the cafeteria. Okay, and also within this area, I would sell medical equipment, things like crutches, wheelchairs, all that type of stuff. Yeah, I'd get in on that game. And also prosthetics, all that type of thing, that would be available within this convenience store area. Also, it'd have like a gift shop and have it all combined, have it to be, like I said, large and good flow of in and out, wide open spaces to the entrances for people to come in and out. Instead of it being real cramped up, just a little old bitty gift shop somewhere. No. No, I would have it all like that, and you could buy shirts, you could buy, whatever. Have all that available within this thing, and that way, that would be wonderful for people who are, who've got family in the hospital, whatever, and they didn't bring toothpaste, they didn't bring clothes to wear, they didn't, whatever. They can just go down to the convenience store area and buy whatever the heck they need. And, pretty much what you can think of will be offered in this convenience store, okay? And so much percentage of the sales and all that will go to the hospital. That's how you work out a deal with all that. The hospital gets in on that game because, let's face it, in today's world, just regular medical services is not paying the bills because either people their insurance is lousy and it doesn't pay worth a crap, or people cannot afford insurance. And, that's a huge problem is, it's just so doggone high. People can't afford it. So, you're losing a lot of money if you're just in that area. You got to get in on something else in order to keep money flowing through your facility. And that's how you do it. You got to get in on the product sales game. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. Okay? Unless you're like some of these bigger hospitals and you're in on some other things, but unfortunately smaller hospitals are not. They don't have all the equipment and everything that the bigger hospitals have and offer. So you just got to go with what you can and, use what you can. Okay? But also within this hospital, I would build a mini hotel connected up to it to where people can, instead of having a bunch of people crammed in a patient's room, making it more complicated for staff to come in and out and deal with the patient, have like a mini hotel room set up to where patients' families can rent a room for the night. That way they can be on the premises and they can be contacted if anything happens, or they can, be available to come to the room at any time to, visit their family or whatever. So have it set up like that, and maybe, make it like half the price of what a hotel room would be, maybe $40 or something like that, whatever is convenient for the hospital. And, just have the basic, just, you have your bed, your TV, your bathroom, just your basic stuff. And that way, if they get hungry or whatever, the visitors can go down to the cafeteria. The cafeteria would probably be open till, late hours or maybe even 24 hours, however, whatever would work out best for the hospital. But, still have it set up to where, the patient's family can have access to whatever they need, and that way people don't bug the regular kitchen staff that are dealing with having to cook the patient's foods, and other people don't get inconvenienced by all this. That way things would run a lot smoother if you had like a little mini hotel area for the patient's family. Okay. Also, it would be a good idea on the first floor to build counselors' offices. That way you have counselors on staff to deal with people, within the community who need a counselor to talk to, instead of them having to go way off somewhere to go talk to a counselor or whatever. You can have that available at the hospital. And, like I said, this would not just be for patients or patients' families. It would be for anybody in the community that needs a counselor. You can offer it there at your hospital. So that would be one good service that would bring in money for the hospital and also be of benefit to the community. Because that's one thing that I noticed in a lot of small towns is it's missing counseling services. So people don't really have anyone to talk to. And I just really think this would be a good idea to have, 2 or 3 counselors' offices within the hospital. That way people have a choice of who they want to talk to. Also, I think it'd be a good idea to maintain Lamaze classes within your hospital. Even if you decide not to to maintain a labor and delivery department, still offer Lamaze classes for the public, and hire a nurse specifically for this. Instead of having to pull a nurse from her regular nursing duties to have to do this, just hire a nurse to specifically do Lamaze classes. That way it's not a stress on the nursing staff that's already at the hospital. They already have a huge patient load. They're already stressed out, working long hours. Just hire somebody to do this instead of throwing that responsibility onto them, because usually when you just throw this responsibility onto your staff like that, it kind of dies down. It's just too hard for them to have to keep doing that. So I think it's best just to hire somebody specifically for stuff like this, okay? And also, you need to keep a chaplain on service. I think that would be or chaplain services on the premises. Let's put it like that. You need to do that. People, even people that can't afford counseling services or whatever, especially when you're dealing with death and all that, you're going to need somebody to talk to. And I think it would be a good idea to keep a chaplain there. It would help. And I've noticed a lot of the chaplains have been taken out of the hospitals, and I think that's a mistake. Because regardless of, and make it to where this chaplain can be there for anybody, regardless of their religious belief or whatever. This chaplain can, they've been trained in different levels of religion and all that. Have it to where they can be there to be someone that these people can talk to and kind of lean on during their troubled times. I think that would be a good idea. And also, I think it would be a wonderful idea to have a separate break area with vending machines and all that type of thing built within the building to where people can go and take a break and get away from their co-workers and all that. You need a break area for both visitors to come and sit down and snack and whatever, and then you need like a little another break area to where staff can go and sit down. Besides, what the little break rooms that are within certain departments, you need a little bit bigger one to where even kitchen staff or whoever can go and sit down and get away from, have that 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever to get away from other people and kind of, unwind for just that few minutes. That can make a world of difference if you offer that. It would just be a nice place to unwind and all that, and also have that break area for visitors and all that. That way they won't be right up around the staff all the time. They can have their own separate thing, and then the staff can have theirs. I think that would be a great idea. And also maintain a place outside to where people can go sit down on benches or whatever if they need to, if they want to, instead of being inside, and have vending machines around those areas as well. I know some hospitals want to discourage smoking and all that. All I can tell you is, put up the no smoking signs and have people on staff, security guards and all that to tell smokers to either put it out or go across the street or whatever and all that. But still, other people shouldn't be punished just because, a few smokers want to smoke on the premises. I don't think that's right. I think you still need to maintain a place for people, to come outside and enjoy the sunshine and relax. I think that would make things more open and inviting to the public. I think it would just be good for the hospital to maintain that air, But that concludes this presentation. Thank you for watching.